Welcome to Pro Tools Tips, brought to you by Lilac Writer. In this episode, we're going to assemble a stereo drum track from loops. In previous episodes, I showed you the way to drag in loops from your loop library. Option semicolon will bring up the workspace browser. And the workspace browser is the view that you need to be in to drag files into Pro Tools. And I've already navigated into my loop library into the Total Control Audio Hip Hop Anonymous loop set that we used before. And this loop set is normally at 90 beats per minute. If I turn this little button off, you'll see 90 beats per minute is a lot slower than my project tempo. But this button here that looks like a little old-fashioned metronome, this is what you use to conform the tempo of the loop to the project tempo. So I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to drag, I'm not going to drag it yet. All right, so I'm going to use that. But before I can put that into the project, I need to set up the track correctly. I've already created a stereo drum track, and I'm going to enable elastic audio, and that's done in this section of the track by clicking here and choosing the type of material that you're going to basically conform to. In this case, it's rhythmic because it's the drum part. So now that I've turned that on, I've also got grid mode enabled. I've got the grid set to 1 bar, and I'm going to go back to the workspace browser with option semicolon. And then I'm going to just use the first one on the list here. I'm going to drag it to match this material here. Didn't quite go. There. And now I'll select a little piece of this and play it back. And you can see that that's it. It's already locked in. If I wanted to build an actual rest of the song, many of these loop libraries, including the ones that I like from Total Control Audio, have the kind of the context of the loop in the file name. So if I want to do a verse section, I've got a few verse section loops to choose from, or chorus loops. This is called alternate. So I'm going to just choose a couple of these. We'll choose a verse, and that gives me 4 more bars, and I can choose the B part of a verse. And you can see that as I drag this in there, it makes it extremely easy. Now here's a chorus. Zoom out a little bit. And I can continue like this. I can either audition them, or I can just drag them into the project and snap the pieces together. And I'll also drag in an ending here. And I'll zoom up a little bit. All right, so really that's all there is to doing this, assuming that your loops are of a fixed tempo. If you needed to adjust them, sometimes the loops come in and they'll be off in the timing. And you can use the TCE trimmer tool to fix those kinds of problems. In this mode, the TCE trimmer will use the setting of your elastic audio setting. So once in a while, when you drop the loop in, it'll be like this. So it'll miscalculate the tempo. So as you drag the loop in, and that's what it sounds like, you need to just use the TCE trimmer to stretch it to the correct length, and then you're done. You can put that away. Now, once I've done this, I can also change the tempo, and it will follow. So if I go and decide I want this at 115, then the drum part will also speed up. Well, the drum part will, but the other part of my song won't, because it's not, these aren't set to elastic audio. If I turn the other tracks on elastic audio, the whole thing would. I'm going to undo that. So that's that. The next thing I want to do is just show you quickly how to create an ending. All right, so now we've got an ending for the drums. So it is one short song, and that holds out a long time, huh? Right, and you can hear a tambourine and some other stuff. So all we need to do is go into slip mode, and shorten it a little bit. And then we can use the fade tool. And you can play around and adjust that. I'm going to take these different loop sections. I just hold down Shift as I select the different pieces and Control D to duplicate that to give me a few more measures of that material. And then Command D to duplicate the part. I'm going to adjust the grid back to a quarter note, and then I'll just slide this back. I got to get grid mode on. Slide this back to the last, just to pick up that first quarter note. All right, let's see how that sounds. It has a little bit of a rough edge on that. So I'll go back into slip mode, and we'll just trim up the ends of that with some fades. This is the one I think that's making some noise. And audition that. That ending's a little bit too long. There you go. So this is a great way to get very natural sounding drums to go along with your songwriting project or your demo. It's also a great way to be inspired if you put together a drum track from this type of loop. Then you could pick up your instrument, try out some different progressions, and come up with some song ideas that way as well. Thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of Pro Tools Tips brought to you by Lilac Writer, and we'll talk to you again next time.